Hey guys, welcome to the 11th episode of the Learning Podcast. And if you aren't sure, it's a Singaporean podcast dedicated to learning something new from every single guest on this show. And today I have with me a friend that I met at the National University of Singapore. We both actually went for this program called the NUS Overseas College Programme, whereby the school actually sent undergraduates like us to various parts of the world to intern in startups. And the guest today I have with me is Mark. And today, if you are a person that ever wants to get perhaps into the big giants like Alibaba, right? Mark here is currently working in Alibaba, and I think that I want to ask him a lot of questions into how he got to Singapore. He's actually from Vietnam. How he came all the way to Singapore, of all places in the world. He's also working on his own apps. I briefly met him at the NUS Overseas College Programme, but I didn't really get the chance to talk in depth with him. And I think that there's a lot of things that I can learn from you, especially like how you hustled your way into Singapore and working for Alibaba, because I think Alibaba is a really, really big company, and I'm sure that there's a lot of things that you can share about. So Mark, for those listeners that don't know who you are, right, could you just give a very quick story of what you're currently doing right now before we go all the way back into the past of how you even came to Singapore in the first place?
Okay. Hi guys. Hey, I'm Mark. So I just recently graduated from NUS. I'm currently working for Ant Financial, which is under Alibaba Group. So Ant Financial is the one that's responsible for payment platforms that support a lot of e-commerce platforms like Lazada. So currently, if you know about Alipay, it's also under Ant Financial. So currently, I'm working as a software engineer at Ant Financial. So I'm working on payment platforms for Lazada, Daras, which is Indonesia, and also a very big platform in Pakistan.
Okay, before we go into the deep details right, of all these things, right, bring us all the way back into the past. You are still back in Vietnam. Why did you come to Singapore?
Oh wow! I mean, as a Vietnamese, it's always our dream actually to go to like countries like America. It's an American dream, right? Go to America. Go to UK, those Europe places, and to get a better education is always we all want to have a better education.
It's something among your social circle. It's a goal that everyone wants to achieve. Yeah. Right? So it's not really common for people to want to go to university in Vietnam. Is that true? Like, I think it sounds sad.
I think we at that time, like around 10 years ago, I've been in Singapore for more than 10 years. So for us, is that back then, actually, we a lot also from parents, pressure from parents. They want to push their kids to better education, and they are willing to pay a lot of money for it. For me, I want to, but I know that it's not very easy because I don't come from a very from a very rich family. So for me, I do want to go overseas to study, but I was looking at from like places that nearer, like for example Singapore.
Also, Australia. When you talk about the American dream, not so much. Why not America? Like, even to me, right, going to America seems like a very attractive thing.
I know, but not like from high school. Okay. Like it's usually like I would think about like top university in America. I would finish high school in Vietnam and then go to there. So like this opportunity to come to Singapore just like happened during high school.
Or high school?
It was a scholarship that I received.
Okay. Is it from NUS directly or?
It's from Singapore government.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was lucky to have the opportunity to take the test and then like be selected as a group of students.
Among your social circle, so there was a bunch of you that took the test, got a scholarship, then came over together.
Yeah, we came together along with others from Indonesia, Malaysia,
Southeast Asia.
Yes, exactly. And then I got into Anglo-Chinese School Independent.
ACSI.
Yes,
IB. You took the IB instead.
I took the IB program.
Okay.
So that was a long journey. And then,
how do you adapt to studying at ACSI? How was your first few months here in Singapore like?
I think the most challenge is that communication is the English wasn't my first language. Even though it was part of the curriculum in Vietnam, I didn't have the chance to actually practice a lot of English with native speaker. So I have to quickly
Pick
improve
up, right?
my English. Learn to use English as a daily communication language, and also understand what the teachers are saying. And
I mean,
that's
if you imagine someone who is like, let's say from Vietnam right now, what kind of, because to me, picking up a language, right? You ask me to pick up a second language and go to a foreign country where the language is not my main language,
I
right?
understand.
What steps do you take to force yourself to cope, to have that kind of standards, to understanding people? Like, what do you do? Or you just like somehow it naturally came to you?
I think English is okay.
It's okay.
It's a Latin. It's based on Latin, like the characters, right?
Yeah.
But for me, like they say, you see, learning Chinese is much more.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think English is okay because we recognize the importance of the language. It's an international language, so I think when the importance of the language, and then you could be interested in it, and then actually when I first started reading, my hobby is reading. I actually started reading in English. My first book series was Harry Potter. Yeah, and I actually started reading it in English.
So that's how you picked up your fundamentals.
Yeah, it's surprising, but
so
it
helps a lot. For you.
It helps a lot because it was a children's book. And remember back in the day, they were printing it in like small chapters in one book.
I didn't know this.
But I know that what's that in Vietnam. They have the small books. Which is a couple of chapters of Harry Potter. And I started reading those and starting to pick up English.
So, I mean, how was taking A-levels like? I mean, okay, no, sorry, not A-levels. How was taking IB like to you? At least, I didn't take IB myself, but A-levels to me, I can even say it's harder than university in my opinion. But how do you feel about IB?
Really? We just say A-level was.
I mean, that's to me, but how was IB like for you?
I think IB was very different because IB incorporates a component in which you have to do a lot of assignments and also like written tasks that are actually part of the assessment. So it's like part of the final grade that you're gonna receive for IB. So there's a lot also projects, those are written assignments that you have to do, and so these you have to constantly keep up with the deadline. Yeah, and we get into one of the things that IB actually teach me was actually writing. We did a lot of writing. Long essays and all these things. So actually that helped me actually transfer into university as well. And secondly is how to beat procrastination.
Beat procrastination?
Yeah, exactly.
Why do we say that?
You mean you have to constantly keep up with the deadline, and it's a very natural habit to procrastinate, right?
So you like this structure that forces you to, this must be done by a certain date, this must be done by a certain date.
I think that will help.
Yeah, that will help. I think at least it helps for me.
Yeah, it helps. But I mean, if you actually find that sometimes, a little push and a lot tight deadline actually make you more effective and more efficient, then you have a very long timeline and you're like, I can chill, right? I don't have to like really work hard. So actually just like that mentality.
So moving on, right? How I know you studied materials science
engineering.
Science engineering. Like, how did you make the decision that you wanted to study this? Because we briefly talked about this earlier. Like, you're doing software development, right? It's totally, I would say, not directly related to.
No, it's not related at all to material science engineering.
So, how do you even choose the course?
So back then, I was actually interested in programming, in coding. After IB, I actually took a small internship, more like with a startup. And I was seeing this guy that do amazing things with Excel.
Excel.
Yeah. Like the things that he do with spreadsheet, like he just
like automating stuff.
Yeah, automating
formulas and everything.
Yeah, and he wrote some simple Python scripts that actually to automate his tasks. I'm like, oh wow, that's cool. I was interested in there. Started learning simple stuff like CSS, HTML.
What, after IB is it?
Yeah.
So before you even went to university?
Yeah.
Actually, that's quite early.
but I wasn't sure that was what I want to do, because I thought that actually my best subject in high school was chemistry and physics.
So more of a scientist.
More science person.
Okay.
So when I applied for NUS,
Yeah.
I actually put like material science engineering, chemical engineering as my higher choices. Then I get those choices first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was. I mean, I enjoy the course. It was there are modules that you will enjoy, and there are the other modules you find yourself struggle.
Can you
may
give
not
a
like that.
brief, very quick summary of what materials and science engineering students do? Because
Okay.
for me, I previously told you, I didn't really have any idea what this. In very layman's term, what do you study in your 4 years there?
Okay, so basically what we do is we learn how different type of materials are structured.
Okay.
And how they are applied in the industry and in your daily life. For example, let's say if you learn about metals and plastics, the two different materials, how it's used to make up this phone, using this in your phone.
And you guys study
like glass and ceramics and all these materials, how they are used. And then we started out learning about the general properties of materials and then we start diving deep into our specialization. That's where you branch out into different type of materials. For example, metals, ceramics. And then you also have the branch where more application like biomaterials or nano materials.
So for you, what do you specialize in?
For me, I didn't actually choose specialization.
Okay.
I take a few modules from different specialization just to keep myself
Holistically informed of the whole thing.
I just want to know what are there in the industry. More like I was actually quite interested in nanomaterials in computing,
nanomaterials in computing.
Yeah, like semiconductors and like new materials used for high capable materials for computing materials, things that you currently using in your smartphone and the next new generations. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on, in NUS. Okay, this is the part where I really want to talk to you about.
Okay, but you asked me you asked me about how I got into coding, right?
Oh yes, I was about to lean to that. You eventually took a minor in computing school.
Yeah.
Why? Why? Because for those listeners, right, actually in NUS there's this thing called UEs, unrestricted electives. So I mean these classes are just meant for you to just experiment, take random classes. I can even say for my UEs I took singing classes. I took singing classes. I think you can even take cooking class or take language classes. That's where most students use their UEs to take lessons outside of their faculty. But did you immediately decide that computing minor, this is what I want to do, or you were trying out, this is what I like how is it like? How did you go into computing?
For me, I did blend a little bit. I was really quite interested in coding, but I started taking a few more interesting classes first. I took the class with Prof. Ben Long.
Ben Long. Is it the
very famous
professor on NUS Whispers?
Yes,
Actually, I don't really follow NUS Whispers, but I saw his name before.
Yeah.
Also, he taught that module.
Yeah, it was a digital application. It's a that we actually have to build 3 projects within 1 semester. It's very, very intense. And then I take other very basic courses in programming methodology, and also starting to build up my interest and also my knowledge in programming, and starting to take internships that are more towards programming actually. That's why I took the internship in NUC, which I'm sure you have a lot of questions about that.
Yeah, definitely. So you started taking UEs related to computing when you're year 2 already?
Yeah, I did.
That's very early to take UEs.
I know.
You haven't even cleared your core modules yet, you're taking UEs already.
But I was planning out because I wanted to do NOC, and I wanted to do and there are very little modules that I can actually map into with my course. So I actually have to strategically plan it out, and I still have to overload a lot. So
which came first? You wanted to do computing, then you wanted to do computing or NOC, or all along you wanted NOC. You just wanted to go NOC first, then like computing started along the way.
No, I think computing first and then NOC. But I think my NOC, I want to do something with computing. I don't want to do something with materials.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it was you had to blend very strategically. That's so that I can graduate on time.
Yeah, definitely. It's something you need to do is to plan your modules, because do you graduate early?
No,
I graduate on time.
Yeah.
Okay, so where do you go for NOC?
Okay, so I went to this country. It's called Israel.
Yes.
So if you guys don't know that it's actually part of Asia. It's
really?
Yes.
Central Asia.
No, it's actually border between Asia and Europe. Middle East. Yes, but it's actually on the border.
Okay,
and if you look on the map, actually Israel is part of Asia.
Oh.
Yeah, this is something that we will actually know.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So there's a lot of interesting things that people actually don't know about Israel. And but something that I know about Israel when we belong is a country of startup.
Country of startups.
Yeah, entrepreneurship. Because in other countries, like let's say US,
yes,
people only know about a few places that are famous for startups. Like they call hubs, like let's say Silicon Valley.
Yeah,
when
Silicon Valley, definitely.
Or New York, right?
Yeah. New York, really? I don't really know.
But in Israel, they call it a startup nation. Yes. And this is the very reason why, because everybody embody that spirit. From everybody go to the army, and then when they came out of army, they actually go to university, and then they start their own company at some of them are like 30-40 years old, and they still start up when they already have a family. So that's cool. Very, very fascinating, because why can they abandon a stable life and still want to start up? It's because the kind of startup that they're doing are very high tech.
High tech, is it?
Yes, exactly. Okay. Because they have this knowledge that they have actually gather for years in the army and both in university and also their work. So when they actually start, some of the founders are like 30-40 years old. They have a lot of experience in them. So they use this knowledge to at least start their own innovations and use that. So it's not something that like you heard often about people dropping out of university, millennial kind of things, and startup apps that I mean there's nothing wrong about it. It's just this is something that is fascinating
from America.
Yeah, I want a different. I want
people.
that kind of things. Like, how can you, still be on that path of a normal like university, getting a job, but then you can also innovate, and then along that way you can have a chance to actually start your own company. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be that tradition, like things that you heard on the media that you can actually start a company. So that's something.
So which company do you work at?
I was working for Healthy.io.
Healthy.io. Okay.
Yeah, so it was a medical device company. So in very basic explanation, what they do is that they automate and make urine testing a process that you can actually do at home. So basically, a traditional urine test, you go to the clinic, you take your urine sample, you use a dipstick that you dip into your urine sample, and it's passed through a machine to analyze the color, which can then translate into how healthy you are. But Healthy.io automate this process, basically send this kit back to your home. You can do the exact test at your home, but they also develop an application right on your smartphone that you can actually take the picture of the dipstick, and it can analyze the color and tell you exactly the same result as done in the hospital, and it's as accurate as the one in the hospital because they have been granted FDA approval.
Wow, that's quite hardcore.
Yeah, it's very hardcore, and they use the tech team uses the advanced technique that they use.
I'm
in
sure
the
all
army.
this is proprietary. Is it?
Yes, this is all.
So
Yeah.
which aspect of this business do you work on? More of the app? Like
Yeah, I was
capturing the
working on a
picture of the
more of the apps, the data structure, and
okay. What do you mean like more about the
about the
data
back
structure?
end. The
Yeah,
back
more-
end.
okay.
I wasn't working on algorithm. So we
okay.
have the front end, the back end, and the algorithm team.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I totally have no. Can you give us a very quick summary? What's
Okay.
the difference between front end and back end?
Okay, sure. So front end is basically everything that you see on, let's say your favorite app is Instagram, right?
Yeah.
You see what is up here, the layout of the app.
UI UX.
Yeah, UI UX. These are the things that the front end designer and the programmer will do, because there's specific programming that usually you build the front end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then there's a back end team which more of like doing the database and
The
also
flow of data, is it
yeah,
like
the flow
from-
of the data,
from-
how you process the business logic behind that app, right?
Each step of the
Yes.
way, every single step.
Yeah.
There are a lot of steps, right?
Yeah, let's say you press that button, right?
Yeah.
To actually let's say capture a video and then send it to the
Server, and
yes.
the server goes to where?
Yes.
Then this goes to what doctor? Then don't know what.
yeah, and then
okay.
it's so up to your front end. That is the front. How it appears is the front end guy will do it there.
Okay.
Yeah, and,
Like-
but then the back end is in the team.
When it comes to like the development of a career for a software engineer, right? Would it like is like that does back end appeal to you more than front end, or like how do you even start? Is there a like preference in which area you want to specialize in, front end or back end? Or it was something that or internship or okay, they give me back end, I'll just do back end.
For me was it's a more of a language choice. So I was more familiar with Python.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the company was using Python as their backend framework. They use Flask. It's a Python framework. So because it was a very short period and I want to contribute. So I quickly pick up more of their code base, because there are a lot of things you have to pick up, not just the language itself.
Yeah.
So you have to pick up the business perspective,
Yeah.
and then the architecture, what they have been doing, how they
So
code the things.
what do you mean architecture, right?
Like how do they
Sorry.
design the code? Sorry
Oh.
for this. Like because like it's a huge code base that they have been developing that app for.
like a long period of time since
Yeah.
it started. So you need to iterate based on that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I have to learn how this company do these things, right? How they design the apps, those things. So for me, I quickly pick up. I already know Python, so it's easier for me to pick up from the back end. And I think they also need a lot of help with the back end side. So that's why.
For your role, right, were you more of like maintaining it or iterating on top of it? Like maintaining in a sense whereby you're just fixing bugs, or is it more of like adding new features, making sure there's no bugs accordingly? Like what percentage of it? Like how? Yeah, like I'm just
For me, when I already started, was their app was stable. So
okay.
the bugs is more of there wasn't actually not many bugs.
Okay.
But more of like improving the code base, meanings that in programming we have refactoring. Meanings that we have to, let's say that function is very long, how do you make it shorter and
but
do
still
exactly yes,
do the same
do
thing.
the same thing, shorter, clearer, so it runs better, right?
And would it like other?
So this is an iterative process. Any company has to do this. When you write your first line, few lines of code is horrible,
Okay.
right? Then few months later, you look back at it, you're like
this
what the shit did I just write? I don't even understand.
It makes it difficult for other engineers to look
Yeah,
at.
exactly.
You want to write something that
Yeah.
all engineers can. Okay, this is clear.
So we have usually a good team that they usually dedicate a specific timing. Let's say once a week to actually do this refactoring, right? Because the whole week I've been writing tons of like 1,000 lines of code. Now let's dedicate Friday to actually sit down together and do a code review and let's make this better, right?
So as in you guys look at the code that you guys like write from each other. I look at
Yeah.
your code, you look at my code.
Yes, that's
then we
about the
like
code.
criticize each other. Hey, why are you writing things like that?
Yeah,
Is it something like that,
exactly.
is it?
Hey, what the shit? I don't understand. Can can you make this better? I can do this like just with one single like why you writing like 50 lines for just for this, you know, like
so it's to make everything like super lean.
Yeah, super lean, clean.
Data hygiene.
Yeah,
no, not data hygiene. Code hygiene.
Yeah, because this is very there's a very difficult part of this that when we write code, we tend to drive ourselves. It's something that I also tend to do. It's a very it's natural. Like nobody can think of what you are thinking in your head, right? So next person that read your code and pick up from there have to basically understand what you're saying.
So in simple English. So in simple English, like I can like, is it like those Shakespeare English? You say a lot of fanciful English, but you can actually say just one single sentence.
Yes, yeah, one single, and like let's say a baby have to understand what you are.
A baby needs to understand it.
No,
but that's the analogy, right?
Yes, the analogy.
But so why is it necessary? Like
it's necessary because it's important for communication between the team itself. And when the software team grows larger
into like thousands of engineers,
thousands, and then there are like codes that, like let's say you keep developing on bad code. They are bad code, and it piles up, piles up.
Then does it like explode one day?
Yeah, it explode one day because like let's say 10 years later, you look down at it, and like, 10 years. No, we cannot, like if there's a new feature that we implement.
Do you want to add on?
But we can't do it because there's something that 3 years ago some stupid engineer that did it. Make it, we cannot do the thing that we want to do.
Strip down everything.
Yeah, we have to actually redo that something that the guy have to do 3 years ago, and then so it's like a domino chain, you know, like.
And that is a very expensive mistake.
Yeah, it's very expensive for the coding team, and they don't want to do it. And it's also now there's a lot of like more integration between the business and the coding already. So actually the business team now more involved in the tech side. So even the business, even though they don't understand how you code it, but they also have to understand how you do it in a very layman term. So if your code is too complicated and like the communication just like, I can't do, like there will be argument between the tech and the business team. Like I can't do this. Why can't you do this? Because
it sounds very simple, like when you say it, but on the code side,
yeah,
right? To fix this puzzle.
Yeah,
again,
I have to fix this. You know, like it's because but from the business team, they're like, I don't care. What
I need this feature. Right?
Yeah. So when you write better code, it's also easier for business to be delivered. Yeah. So not just from the technical side, but also from the it's an economic way to do it. Like it's less expensive.
Why is it that software engineers write so different code from each other? Like that's my generic question. Like you're saying, I mean, technically you can say a lot of things in a single or million. Like say a single thing, but there's a million ways to say it.
Yes.
Why? Yeah. Why do so many people write different codes? I mean, this is how I understand it. Like you're saying that you need to standardize it and make it simple. Why can't people just make it simple from the very, very start? I know this is like a very layman question from our opinion.
It's because it's simple. We all think differently.
Right. Okay.
We can't really guess what others are thinking in their heads when they are trying to do the same things, right?
Can you give me like a super simple example?
Okay,
like,
super
simple. Okay, like I want to achieve this goal, and how the logic of two engineers approach this is different.
It can be let's say as simple as this. It's the same function, but we can name it differently.
Oh, like different names to a function.
Different names to that same function. Like for example,
peach. Shrimp and prawn.
Yeah,
same thing.
Yeah,
but say differently.
Yeah, or let's say that function is to check if something is a number.
Okay. So there are many functions that you can use.
No, but the guy can name it like is number, or the guy can like check if the thing is a number, something like that. You get what I mean? Okay. So it can be, some guy can be very specific, straightforward. Some people can, they can be more obscure or like you never know what they want to do. Yeah, so it can be it's just a very small minor example, but then like some it can overall it can, when you look at a huge code where it's like 100 lines, then get more harder to guess what we are trying to do from each other. And it's
Okay, that's good. Okay, so going back right to your time in Israel, I just want to talk about more generic stuff, not so technical stuff.
Okay.
Like, how is it working in Israel? Like, okay, personally, I have a lot of friends that share with me like all the stereotypical Israel bosses, right? Oh, they're very cheap. They like to slave drive people. They like to. What do you think of all these stereotypes? Personally, I don't really like to buy into the idea of stereotypes because I think it's really just the individual. But how's your working culture like in Israel?
I think, to me, I mean, even within the companies, you see different personalities, different characteristics. So there are things that the Israeli, they're part of their culture. So there are things that, you know, they are very rough, they are loud.
Pretty
these are the things.
Rough and loud.
Yeah, these are the things, because even when they speak, they tend to be very loud, and they tend to like sound like they are arguing, but actually they are like, this just the way they express things. They are very passionate. They are very expressive. They are very straightforward, and this is something, to me, actually I liked it because, you know, in Asia we have a tendency to actually sugarcoat things.
Yes, a lot.
Yeah,
a lot.
Like, let's say, you know, we tend to say
this sucks. No, this can be
it sucks. It's a little bit very, you know, like it's a little bit very not nice. So I'm like, it's a little bit and very, you know, like can you just say it sucks? Like,
okay, so you're more that kind of person.
Yeah, I'm a more straightforward. If you don't like my work, just tell me straightforward and how I can remove it. It's exactly what my colleagues.
It's nothing personal.
Nothing personal. Actually, my Israeli were like, Mark, your work is horrible, blah, blah, blah. They just at meeting, they shout at me, and then after meeting, like, hey, let's go for lunch. So outside work is not.
I mean, was this something that like you had to get used to, or it's like, this is what I like?
I actually like it, but I didn't have the chance to observe much in Asia. So when I was in Israel, sometimes I get like a little bit scared whether, like, you know, they mad at me, you know.
You don't know how they are feeling towards you, but the fact is that they don't have any personal like, I don't like this guy, but it's just more like I want to get things done.
So I need to get used to because, you know, the first few weeks you still have probation, and like so you like you have to watch out, like you know, they have this is my boss, does my boss like me? You know what, like am I sucking up not enough? Or something like that, you know, like
things go through your mind now, you think about it.
You know, as Asian, we like tend to like cannot separate the personal within the work and professional. So that's just something that, you know, I learned from the Israeli is that they are very straightforward. They're very passionate about what they're doing, and actually they let you take the initiative to suggest, because it's in the startup culture, right, environments. You know, you suggest an idea, you do research, and then you can talk to your boss, like just like you know, suggest a new idea to him, and okay, let's test it out. You think how long it will take? Let's say if it's not too long, like 1 or 2 weeks is reasonable. He'll let me actually do it, and if I fail, then at least it's a learning for actually all of us.
Not only for you but for everyone.
Then you know what works and
so
what
for
doesn't
yourself,
work.
you did get into this habit of like what you say, confronting or discussing new features. So you carry on. Is it like more of? Can you just from a layman's like how would like a software engineer show initiative? Like I don't know.
And you know, like let's say we have this new feature that we want to implement, but we're not sure what's the best way to do it. So we will do a little bit research on, you know, whether this has been done before,
or like how other apps
have done before.
Can you share as a software engineer, how do you do research? Like, do you like use the apps or like?
No, actually, it's very simple. It's like there are a lot of platforms now for a normal software engineer that you can actually use it. Stack Overflow.
Stack Overflow, GitHub,
Quora. Basically, just YouTube actually.
YouTube.
I learned most of my coding from Google and YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's amazing now.
Okay,
man,
then
like,
okay, bring back to the another sorry for the random questions. Like,
yeah,
you took a minor in computer science, right?
yeah.
I'm sure it gave you the fundamental,
Yeah.
and it gave you the base to work, to learn more.
Yes.
What percentage of your current skill set as a software engineer do you learn from school, and what percentage do you learn from Google, YouTube? If can you like break it down?
I think the fundamentals part is it's mostly I have to apply mostly in my jobs every day. Actually, I'm starting to see the fundamentals as I go deeper into my daily job. I actually see a lot of fundamentals that I actually learned from school as quite beneficial. It's something that cannot be taken granted.
Okay, so that is what school gave you.
Yeah, but some of the new innovations, like new things in the industry, new trend of technology, there are things that are more practical hand point, like some of these things,
new frameworks, new technologies that hasn't been incorporated in the school.
Yeah,
but without this fundamental, you're not able to learn this new thing. You always need to have the fundamental. So in a sense, school is very important, right? It gives you that base.
Yeah, exactly. And also in terms of the industry itself, let's say, because if you say you are a software engineer, you can be working in many aspects. You can work in healthcare. You can work in finance, which is what I'm doing. You can work in education tech. You can work in e-commerce. You can work in marketing.
There's a million things you can do, right?
Each of in each industry they have different practices. They have different frameworks itself. They have a different communities of coding. They have doing these things and like new trends in that particular industry. These are the things that your professors cannot actually provide you.
I see.
On the context and all the new updates. So these are the things that you have to constantly watch out for by reading up, by
staying up to trends. With the latest
tech,
language,
reading tech resources. TechCrunch is a good thing. Tech in Asia, all of these news that I try to spend like 20 to 30 minutes a day
just reading and catching on the latest technological trends.
It's also my part of my interest. It's just say like what's the next Bitcoin?
Quick question, what do you think about crypto?
Quick question. I think is the thing is you will see that the technology behind cryptocurrency, which is blockchain, is actually something that is actually being implemented a lot in industry, in both finance and in healthcare, a lot of other industries. So the technology itself is actually being proven and being applied. Whether how it can be developed in the future and how it can overcome some of the challenges like security, regulations. These are the things that people are being figured out. But the Bitcoin itself or cryptocurrency is just one application
of blockchain.
Of blockchain. So maybe it can die out because of the trend, or it's not. It's just part of the technology. So for me personally, I'm more wanting to know more about the technology
rather than just this small subset lah.
Yeah, exactly. And something that if I don't really understand about it, I would rather if I'm not so passionate about it, I would not have a comment about it. Got it. But if something that I'm interested, I want to dive deeper into it before I actually know. So for now, blockchain is not something that that I'm actually currently
actively pursuing and
interested in it. So I would refuse comment from it. But I know that the technology is being researched a lot.
So changing gears, right? I think one big question, right, that everyone would like to know, and perhaps as a software engineer, right, you landed up in one of the biggest tech companies, Alibaba, right? How was the journey like getting into Alibaba? Everything, like from the interview process. As much as you can share and is willing to share, right? How did you get into Alibaba?
I think for me was one of companies in my list when I was looking for more of the diversity in terms of technology of the companies are doing. So for someone that is a software engineer, wanted to go into the field, you actually look for like excitement in technology. So I was looking at companies that are doing just beyond
the forefront, right?
Yeah, just beyond
most updated.
Yeah, what they're doing. So even though they're known as just a e-commerce, they're actually doing other things as well in AI, in finance, in healthcare,
in all areas.
Yeah. So some of the companies like Google or Facebook, I'm sure is on top of like any NUS computing students' mind as a top tech companies. So I was actually on the verge of between joining a very good diverse companies and that is quite established where they have a lot of resources where I can actually dive deep into that or joining a startup, tech startups, right? So I was on the verge of that,
these two choices.
Yeah, these two choices. On the other side is actually starting my own companies, right?
I'm sure you'll get into that later.
Yeah. So, but then this opportunity actually jumped at me in year 4. They came to NUS and financial came to NUS and they have an interview process. They also trying to extend into the Asian market, Southeast Asia market. So that they were trying to build up their the tech team in Asia.
Is it very new? I mean, are you allowed to share how big?
The Singapore office is only 5 years right now.
5 years.
Yeah, and financial is, I think is even small, like 2 or 3 years. So they're still very new. They're trying to build up their
so it's new. There's a lot of opportunities because it's new. The team is very small. So
so
could you share more about the interview process as a software engineer? Like I don't know about like for Facebook,
sure.
Google, what they throw you all the tests, all the different kind of tests. You must do
different companies have different processes.
Okay.
But in general, they have few things that they will definitely look for. One is technical foundation.
Okay.
That's something that for they definitely need someone that understand the basic knowledge of programming and the foundation of it. Things that at least because you are learning, so you in university for 4 years you have to have that foundation.
Okay, so that's the baseline. So as a layman, right, can you share with me what a programming test is?
Okay, sure. So for most software engineer they will definitely test you some of the basic things. These are the very common things that will definitely appear and you have to prepare. But the more depending on your roles, then they will more of have more questions in certain parts compared to this. Data structure, algorithm, networking, database. And also other things like they will ask you certain design patterns.
Design patterns.
Yeah. Basic meanings that there are some template ways that you can implement certain things that makes it make your code better, easier to read and is also better. These are that has been the industry standard that you have to learn it and prepare for your coding interviews.
So how many rounds were there? Like, was every round a technical test, or was there like a human element to it?
No,
because I know like
human elements.
Like when the technical human element come in?
The technical test was we started with one technical test and then there's a group interview, and then I had 2 more rounds of interview in the office itself. So during the interview at the office is the face-to-face between me and the senior engineer, where he actually test me a lot more on the technical things.
Also, the like face-to-face interviews was more of technical questions rather than are you a good person or all that kind of stuff.
At the end of the there will be a personality test, which is they ask you more of the personality questions.
Okay, sorry, just to break it down, like first 2 is more technical.
Yeah.
Third, with a senior engineer, then you like technical questions just to get a vibes of they getting to know you, all that kind of stuff. Then lastly, personality test.
Yeah,
Personality test, like is it an online one or like someone
No.
Like, what kind of personality test?
Personality test is more like basically they are just it's a open
conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So some companies can have many ways to do this.
Okay.
Not only face to face conversation. Or some companies actually they will invite you to have a meal with the senior vice president or even CTO. You know, like like just sit down with the CTO and then like have a meal. Like
I mean, did you ever have that kind of interview? No. But you heard of friends that did, is it?
Yeah, I had a friends, but more of like let's say small startups. Usually they'll have that kind.
Oh yes, startups are definitely it's more feasible that way.
Feasible for them. But I read on books that some big companies, you can't have a meal with CTO, but they will have a meal with other.
You're quite a senior staff of the company.
Yeah, because like at Facebook, they I can't tell much about Facebook, and it's not this part.
Okay.
I can't comment on other companies.
Okay, yeah, because you're not in it. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't, but in general, I can say that different companies can have different processes. This is something that you can read like some of the very basic books that actually talk about this. One of the there's some very important books that we will recommend you to read before any coding interview.
Okay.
I will send you the.
Send me the list. Is it? Yeah. Can you name a few just right now, or it's difficult?
I can't.
So wait. So there's a list of coding kind of books that you feel that are necessary.
Yeah. Like
is technical coding books, or is it like just like non-fiction life?
Both technical.
Both is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so Mark will give you the list of books that you should read before you go into a big tech company.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So what else do you want?
So, to a young software engineer, right, who let's say is very interested into going to all these big companies, like now very cliche, but what are the kind of, let's say, the top 3 things that a software engineer needs to pay attention to in order to get into these kind of companies?
I think the top 3 fundamental skills that you need. The first one, number 1 is still the foundation.
You need to know your shit.
Yeah, you need to know your shit. There's
no smoking.
Yeah, there's no smoking. There's no short way. The good thing about, because I come from a background where I didn't actually major in computer science.
Yeah.
It forces me to get down to the level where I have to figure out those myself, and I can't take them.
Be as good or if not even better than computing science.
No, I can't say that I'm better, but I have to work harder.
Yes.
Basically, that's what I have to prove myself.
Yes.
I know there's more challenges for me when it comes into an interview, so I have to prepare longer.
Is this the second point already?
Yeah. Second is communication is important. Nowadays, if you imagine a software engineer, it's no longer just human and computers.
It's human and computers.
It's more of human and technology. Human and human, and in between is the technologies to bridge us. So the things that you write are actually used for humans.
Yes.
Right. So there are days that I come in, I didn't write a single line of code. I actually spend time more of like talking to my colleagues. We go back and forth. We talk to each other how to actually do these things, and how to explain to each other the thought concepts, and also like finding what's the best way to do certain things. So that we don't have to waste time, like
fixing things that can be prevented if you had a macro high-level strategic discussion of how you guys want to approach a problem.
Yeah, and also nowadays a lot of like we have to also work very closely with our business partners.
Yes.
And our business team to understand from their perspective what we have to do. And so there must be a balance between tech and business, right? So these are the things that the software engineer have to communicate, to learn the soft skills, to negotiate, what's the best thing from the perspective from tech and from the perspective of business. How we can balance this out so I can make my job better. And
making everyone
making
everyone happy.
And in the end, we deliver a good product to our customers, right? So from a tech perspective, this is important, and also from the business perspective. So soft skills and communications is very important along with the hard skill, because these are the things that you need to pick up daily. No book can teach you, right? On how to talk to people. Like they can tell you the fundamentals thing, but then you have to go out there and
put it into practice, right?
Yeah, you have to talk to people, right?
So is that 3 things already?
No, the
one last thing.
One last thing is be willing to self-learn and be willing to drive yourself to learn a new technology.
Just being open to learning.
Yeah,
always.
open to learning. And there are times that you will feel very shitty, right? About like there are days that I come in and try to fix bugs and trying to understand why this thing is not working. And you get so frustrated. And I have to run around and trying to find from different people how
did this problem originate in the first
and
place?
Nobody can tell me, and I have to fix it, and it can be one small bugs in a 100 lines that I actually wrote myself.
Oh, okay. Then you must find a problem.
I get very frustrated because I have ups and downs in my work, and as a software engineer, a lot like you have to figure out yourself because it's no longer school. Like you are doing things. I mean, it applies to all the other jobs as well.
Yes.
But just from my perspective is that you have to constantly drive yourself and learn new things and enjoy the process. I mean, it sounds cliche, but but
it's important.
It to me is something that I think I know it, but when I actually get my feet into the food, I hate it. But I hate it. But then that also what drives me, because now that I know what I have to be prepared for, after I overcome it, is more rewarding than I thought it would be. I would imagine my coding life would be miserable, and then when I come into a tech company like this, I thought, oh shit, it's actually worse. But after I go through it, and wow, it's quite rewarding. I mean the challenge was bigger than what I thought, but the reward was also bigger than what I thought.
That's nice. Can you share with us what product back end are you responsible for in Alibaba?
So currently I'm in a team that supports e-commerce platforms. Yeah, like in Southeast Asia specifically.
Is it specifically Lazada?
Yeah, right now we are working for the most important, because we just acquired Lazada. Alibaba acquired Lazada, so there are a lot of tech infrastructure that we want to help Lazada improve in terms of.
So mainly it's Lazada. The back
for
end
now
of Lazada.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also we support other overseas e-commerce like
separate apps, is it?
Yeah, like Taobao, Tmall, overseas.
Taobao. I know Tmall is in Thailand, Indonesia.
Yeah.
They do they have Lazada there?
Lazada is in 6 countries.
Philippines. I mean, there are some markets where there's both Lazada and Tmall and Taobao. Because I know Taobao is also.
It becomes an e-commerce ecosystem.
So you are specialized in the back end e-commerce.
We are doing for Ant Financial. We're doing payment.
Okay, so the payment aspect of e-commerce within all these kind of platforms.
Yes, basically we want to help merchants these e-commerce platform implement the better payment solution. For example, let's say in that particular country, most people will pay cash, but now I want to incorporate e-local wallets. Like let's say in Indonesia, right, market, a lot of people use Dana e-wallet. So we try to integrate Dana into
the Lazada, Tmall, Taobao app.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is built upon Alibaba's financial infrastructure.
And financials.
Yeah, infrastructure. Yeah. Because we previously we built Alipay, which process billions of transactions.
Yeah.
So we have a very good infrastructure.
Proven structure.
Yeah. So we try to help Lazada implement this on top of what.
Is it compulsory for all Alibaba staff to go to Hangzhou? Context, if you don't know where the HQ of Alibaba is in Hangzhou, it's a place in China. Like
even and financial headquarters in
Hangzhou. So like all new employees go there for how long of a training? Because we have a mutual friend called Daniel, and he's working in financial. Like how long were you in Hangzhou, and what do you guys do there? Do you meet Jack Ma?
Everybody will ask us the question, do we meet Jack Ma? No, the simple question is that we cannot even touch him. He's like,
of course.
No, we had a glimpse of him.
A glimpse? You saw him in
real life? Of course. We attended the 20th anniversary of Alibaba. It was huge. He was there singing,
Michael Jackson, all that kind of stuff, is it?
Yeah, he was in a rock. This year he decided to team up as a rock band, and then he was wearing this wig, and then he was.
Is it? I'm not sure if I saw an ad like Alibaba got Taylor Swift. Is it?
No, not really.
No. I thought I saw
rock band or something.
No, I saw this year.
This year was a rock band.
Oh, this year?
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry. This year 11/11.
No. I mean the 20th anniversary that was happening.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Anyway,
20th anniversary. Sorry, no, your time in Hangzhou.
Yeah, my time in Hangzhou. The reason why we need to go there because the headquarters and a lot of core development, tech development still there.
Yeah.
So for important campaigns like Double 11, mid-year campaign, 99, it's important that everybody has to gather around and
be on the same page.
Yeah, be on the same page.
That sounds so difficult, Like, it's thousands of engineers that come together.
We work seamlessly. Like day to day is very important, but during that campaigns, especially, it's important for everybody to have good communication. So a lot of us has to be there, especially the tech team. And then usually we will be there for about a week or two, depending on how much work we have.
So it's a series of meetings with like head engineers. Okay, this is a macro things we are going to do.
So like from us, because we just started, so it's important that we be a lot of core development is still there. So for us to go there and quickly learn.
So like the engineers, they're all from China, right? So they spoke in English, or like was there like a translator? Or don't tell me Alibaba is some sort of translation.
Most of them still speak in Chinese, but other things we're trying to do in business also in English. 我不能说中文。
Do you speak Chinese?
一点点 just a little bit. Anyway, my Chinese is not as impressive as Daniel.
Shit. Okay. Daniel Chinese is crazy.
Yeah, his Chinese is like wow.
He interned in Shanghai. Okay, for context, like Daniel is he like Indian or Chindian? I don't even know. Sorry, Daniel. Indian, but he's an Indian. But he speaks like I'm ashamed to say, but he speaks better Chinese than me. Definitely.
Really? Can you speak something like?
Okay. So you're in Hangzhou for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Only 2 weeks?
No, I have to be every time I'll be there for 1 or 2 weeks. So I've been there
a couple of times already.
Yeah, 5-6 times.
5-6 times already. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So you really get a hang of China.
I get a hang of China. It was, it was unbelievable. The technology development is crazy. You go there, literally you can order now everything with a handphone. It's amazing. Nobody use cash there.
Yes.
You go into a restaurant, there's a QR code there. You can order together, 3 or 4 group people. They split the bill for you. You just scan the app. It directly linked to the merchant, the restaurant's menu. You order, and then the waiters bring food for you. You pay directly to your Alipay or WeChat Pay, and then you go. And so if you start asking them for money, for the menu, or like starting asking you to pay for cash, they start fumbling. It's so funny. Like they actually thought you were foreigners in.
They immediately know that you're a foreigner.
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
Don't,
it's crazy. Or you must be from some rural part of China.
Even the rural parts of China, I'm sure they use it.
Yeah, they use now. The smartphone is so cheap.
Yeah.
Amazing. You can and you go on the street, there's a vending machine there, you look into it, it uses facial. If you have a Alipay or WeChat Pay, Alipay app, it already save your face photo, because you need a national ID.
Yeah.
So it recognize your face, and then it pay directly. So you can order. You can imagine a vending machine storing your face data.
I mean, when I was in China, I didn't even see that yet. So I was like, oh my gosh.
But at train station now, you can order train ticket with your face. And you just go there and look into that directly.
I mean, as a top line discussion, like why do you think, or what's your opinion on why Singapore hasn't caught up in this aspect?
I think the main is regulations.
This regulations.
Yeah.
Data, is it? I know data is very sensitive.
They're very sensitive. I mean, it depends from government to government. It's something that I would. But apparently in China, it seems that they have a way. They have a way to both support and control it. That's something that I know. And then they use technology to support the day-to-day. A lot of new things that are coming up with the fast pace of the development in China. And I think the government has found a way to both support and control it. And I think in Singapore, we're not. I'm not really sure, but there are still opportunities for it to be considered. But again, it's not something that is not easily
definitely
done within a few years. It's also come from us, whether we know exactly what's going on.
Whether the users are willing to go on board this train and pick
exactly.
it up.
But it seems that the population and the government over there support it. So so you see all these things, and when you go there, you have to adapt to it. You know, like
we are forced as like foreigners, right, to already accommodate. How they do stuff.
I
and
mean,
everything.
you can still make cash, but you just so. And if you can't even speak Chinese,
that's even worse.
It's even worse. So you have to either now your phone is your friend.
You can just translation is it like all that kind of stuff.
And then you pay everything with you don't even have to talk to the counter there. You just scan and go, pick up, scan and go.
Very convenient.
It's
so changing gears right now, beyond Alibaba, right? I know that personally you have worked on your own app. You have developed your own app. You're working on your own side hustles, entrepreneur. Like basically in this session, we just talk about like anything. Okay. What are you currently working outside work?
Okay.
Like your self project, because I know that engineers, right, they always have this kind of like self projects that they work on, right? Are you working on any project?
Currently, more of like actually, the app that I was building was we actually open source it, and our team decided not to pursue it. It was a good run, but we don't see.
What is this app about?
It was an app that actually allow you to share discounts, like those like 2 for 1. And then you can share the discounts with people around you or with friends. But we don't see it's a long discount.
So it was actually a team of friends that got together.
Yeah, I got together for actually we built it for module with them. It was interesting, but we see a lot of commitment issue in it. And we decided it was something quite interesting, but wasn't something that I was particularly passionate about. To be honest, for me, I was more passionate about technology that empower others, helping people, small businesses or like people with more like from the lower background, people that have less opportunities, that
empower them the opportunities to let's say sell more of their products through using technology, or easy to collect money,
or disabled people, something. So currently what I'm working is I'm working more with the deaf people. So it's a small project in Vietnam.
What is this project called?
It's called Hear Us Now.
Hear Us Now.
Yeah. Basically, we are working with a group of teaching deaf students coding.
Teaching deaf students coding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we build our own curriculum, and we actually help them work on small projects.
How young are these children?
They actually, the thing is that a lot of them actually just finished high school.
Oh, high school is 14?
And it's very difficult for them to go to university because it requires specific support and resources for these students. You need like sign language teachers, the teachers that. But for a high level at university, college, they don't have these resources. So a lot of them have to go actually find a job after high school.
Yeah.
And they don't have a lot of opportunities because of their communication. So a lot of them actually have to do very manual labor jobs, like sewing or like go to factories and work. But me and our friends saw that a lot of them have the thing about these deaf students is that they're actually very patient. Because the fact that they have to communicate, they have to take more time to effort to actually deliver their message across. So they're very patient. So and actually they can do a lot of creative things. So we want to actually empower them with other things that like jobs that require these skills. That so we think that design or like computing, programming, actually things that they can actually things that we're testing it out with this group of students to see whether it can be something that like beyond those manual labor opportunities. What can we
equip them with more high skills?
Yes,
that makes their lives, getting jobs, whatever, so much easier compared to I feel bad saying it, but blue collar or like very manual jobs.
Yes, exactly.
I feel bad saying it, but is there a reason why you chose deaf people, or why not like other subsets of disabilities? Or you felt that was it you that came up with the idea, or like it was a group of friends that you felt that you wanted to make use of the education of coding to have like big impact, like what you were saying?
For me, it's because actually I was after high school I actually volunteer with a project in Vietnam.
Okay.
For this, with my friend, we volunteer to teach a few deaf students English.
Okay.
And then after both of us graduated from NUS, we decided he wanted to actually take a year off in Vietnam to do some social projects because he's very passionate about it.
Okay.
And then he find that maybe you can come up with some, because he knows sign language, he knows English.
He knows sign language.
English. And so he said like maybe we can come up with programming. You know the programming language.
You bring the technical expertise on board, then he does the means of communication.
Yeah. So he's been doing that. I've been traveling to Vietnam for a couple of times. My free trip.
Sorry, just to backtrack. How do you even teach English to deaf children? Like, how?
Okay, so basically, we have to learn the sign language a little bit. For me,
you know sign language.
For me, I didn't actually know very well. But some of the students, the thing is they have, for the deaf students, they actually learn to have to adapt to the speaking world. So actually for them, when they're born, they have to learn how to
lip read.
Yeah, read lips. This is like their survival skills. Amazing, right?
Crazy.
Yeah, actually, we try to incorporate other like very visual teaching.
Visual aspects of teaching.
Yeah, teaching like other and like using technology like more of like slides or like apps like like Kahoot. You heard of Kahoot?
Yeah, Kahoot.
Yeah, or Quizlet. Yes.
Quizlet, yes. Yeah, very good effective.
Yeah, these tools are
engaging, very engaging.
Yes, engaging. So they pick up very, very, very fast using the technology.
Wow, very inspiring, man.
Yeah. So I was thinking maybe in the future I can build some apps that using AI that can
dedicated to helping firstly deaf people into learning coding or maybe even other skills. Then is your long-term goal like just branch into this kind of education?
Like the technology that empower others. Basically, I can see more opportunities in AI and also when computing capabilities becomes better and the price goes down, right? Then these technologies can be more affordable to the less opportunity.
Providing more opportunities for everyone.
Exactly.
That's very nice.
Yeah, that's where I actually believe that when technology it should be used to empower others, right? And it's more sustainable to build business that can help others, so that the impact is more, and as it also drives back the economic values.
It's circular lah.
Yeah,
it's circular, and everything gets bigger at the end of the day.
And I also, when I look for opportunities in companies that are doing this, I think that a lot of companies, I'm happy to see like a lot of startups are also doing that new trend where they give back and as part of their business values. So yeah, social entrepreneurship is something that I am quite looking to. Currently as my side part.
So what's your 10-year, 15-year plan? So is your long-term plan to stay? Would you want to return to Vietnam and really build the community there, like really through all this kind of education space?
I think Southeast Asia is a very interesting market. You see it's growing huge. I think a lot of I think the 3 parts of the world that people should be but it's very interesting to look at. Firstly, China, because of the huge technology development and the huge impact that it has having. The second part is Southeast Asia. It's a growing market, and third is Africa.
Interesting.
Because it's an underdeveloped part of the world. So when most of the developed part of the world has developed, or even the developing world is developed, so where do you think is the part that will rise, right? And more opportunities. That's where some of these unlooked at opportunity markets are exploring. You know, like because of America, Europe, they're all like kind of stable. Like already rise. So only the bottom part of the world will.
There are a lot more opportunities there.
Yeah.
So changing gears, right? What books are you currently reading?
Okay, so currently I'm reading several books on social entrepreneurship. The most recent book that I've just finished is called Start Something That Matters. It's by the founder of Tom Shoes.
Okay.
So their business model was for a pair of shoes that they sell. They will give back a pair of shoes to a child in Argentina. And it was interesting because there are very few companies that execute the one-for-one model very well in the world. And they managed to find a very sustainable economic model to do it. And they basically found the type of shoes that are very functional, that you can actually use it for work or any like going to work, going to school. And so when they sell one shoes, they actually make another shoes that for another child. And the thing about charity is that when you donate a shoes, it may not be sure that shoes can fit another child's feet. So instead of asking people to actually donate a shoes, they actually use part of the profit to drive back that economy.
So you're just looking, because you're interested in social entrepreneurship, so you're looking into all these kind of books to see potential opportunities to learn or even implement in Southeast Asia. And
also like learning why it's successful and what are the I see a lot of opportunities in social entrepreneurship as the next things that are gonna be happen, because now you see a lot of new trends upcoming in the world. You see people are going for social changes, right? You see a new trend in sustainable materials, environment protection.
Very hot topic.
Very hot topic, right? The reason why Hong Kong protests happened is because of a social change, right? That new things are gonna happen in the world. That I personally see that it's gonna be the next things, because for business that wants to have sustainable economic value drive back to society, business that tends to that lasts longer, because usually the idea of doing charity or doing social good is that it's usually an afterthought.
Yeah.
Basically, you make tons of money.
Then you
You
help
donate
the
it back.
community.
So the question is, how can I do good for society while making money at the same time?
Yeah.
So it's something that if I want to start a company or I want to do something, I want to base my principle of my company on that.
Not money first, but money and impact at the same time.
Yes, exactly.
That's a nice idea. Yeah. So Mark, thanks so much for coming all the way to a very ulu part of Singapore. For those listeners that want to get in touch with the projects you're working on, like where do they find you?
So do visit me on my Instagram.
Okay, I'll link his Instagram bio, LinkedIn bio, his website, his any other specific platforms that you want people to find you on.
Right now,
No, it's okay.
I don't know. Like you can find my. I'll give you my LinkedIn.
Okay, yeah, I'll tell you on LinkedIn. Yeah. Okay, so I ask this question to every guest lah. Before it ends, right? To I think actually you briefly talked about it just now, but to a young undergraduate, or actually advice to university students in general, right? What kind of advice would you give, like having graduated?
Having graduated, I would say that every university journey for everyone is totally different.
Yes, it's completely different.
So I think what you can most take away is the friendship, the experience that you have in universities, that is once in a lifetime. Yeah. And even things that like your CCAs, your overseas trip, your exchange, your internship, everything is gonna be valuable, and is one's own valuable experience that don't just see. And then your grades, every exam is also part of those experience that will drive you towards your next chapter in life. So do treasure those
days.
They are very precious.
It's over for us.
Yeah, I mean, there will be up and down. There are days you feel like shit, and you procrastinate. You cry over bad grades. Missed chances. I didn't get the best grade that I had. I mean, I could have gotten better grades if I didn't go for risky modules in order to pursue something that I was interested in.
So pursuing something that you're interested in is important rather than going for grades, what do you say?
I think as much as cliches say,
yeah, but it's true.
it's more of like knowing what you want.
Yes.
More than, I would say you have to balance it out. But when you know what you want, then you'll find a way to get it. For example, I know that I want to go into computing, then I'll have to take those modules.
Risky modules.
Yeah, but I want to be employed, so I cannot drop my cap too much.
Yeah,
I cannot be below 3.5.
yes.
I have to graduate. So as long as my cap can maintain as good as it can be, I want to be my cap.
Would you mind sharing your
No,
cap? I'm willing to share my cap if you share yours. Okay.
Hey, come on. Okay, I'm a.
Okay, forget it. Second upper is good,
Okay, I barely managed to maintain my second upper.
Okay, mine is also a low second upper.
I mean, I could have gotten better. Yeah, but I know that what I want, so
yes, that's good.
I don't want to drop too much, but at the same time I want to pursue things that I want to do, and you when you already know what you want and you are driven, and you will find a way to get it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it applies differently.
Be clear of what you want. Yeah. That's the most important thing.
And I mean, it's something that you have to actually sit down and think about. Yeah, and look at the industry. Look at because it's gonna be getting very very hard. I gotta be honest. Like I know that I was having the same question for myself. Now I got a material science engineering. I'm in material science. What am I gonna do? Like, where am I gonna get my job? Like,
think about those things.
Yeah. I did. I have to, and I do. Those are the questions that I struggle with. Am I gonna go to a startup? How much are they gonna pay me? All of these questions that you have to. That you have to take time to think it out. And when you actually give a thought about it, and then you have a clearer picture of what you want, then it's actually much easier than actually, and that's part of the process.
Enjoy the process.
You either enjoy it or you don't like it, but anyway, you have to go through it and you figure it out. Because I think at the end of the day, I'm happy that I see a lot of my friends also get into good companies. They're also, some of them are also enjoying things that they want to do. Some of them did have good opportunities as well. And I'm thankful for university experience as part of the friendship, the experience, the things that I learned that make me who I am today.
Oh, very nice. Okay, Mark, thanks so much for coming. I'll link everything, all your social handles, everything. If you want to ever keep in touch with Mark, maybe you can just send him a message. I'm not sure if he'll reply, but I hope you do.
Okay,
but yeah, thanks so much, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. It's my honor to be here.